Hello everyone, so I'm going to try to go over a few of the questions from the review just to make sure you have a good understanding of those. Remember, the test will be next class. If you do have questions, please message me. Okay, so the first one actually did have a little bit of a typo, so this E point should have been -8, which is changed on mine, but I think you guys it says -9, so you can change that. So any of these ones where you're performing a transformation, start out and just graph the pre-image, okay? So I want to make sure I get those right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, it's 8 squares wide here. So please double check when you're graphing your points, especially for the test. Okay, so there's B, C, D, and E. Alright, like I said, really important that you get them correct, because if it is off, your pre-image is off, then your new image is going to be off as well, and even if you perform the transformation correctly. Alright, so if it's flipping across the y-axis, that is this vertical line. So I want to think left to right. Okay, I actually just do this visually, so I just kind of look and decide basically what matches up here. So like C is 1, 2, 3, 4 from that line, so I want to go 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other side, and that is C prime. Same with B prime, and please write the points on them as you go, that way you don't forget them, because a lot of people on the quiz had the correct points, but they kind of mixed them up. Okay, and you will tell your new coordinates. Please, once you do these, be checking your answers. The answer key for reuse is always on the last page. Alright, and then the mapping rule, if it's a reflection, the only thing that changed was my x value. It went from negative x's, over on the right side is our positive x's. So you really want to think opposite rather than become negative, because adding that negative is like multiplying by -1, which does just make it opposite. Okay, I gave you a list of must-do questions in class, and I don't remember if these are all exactly them, but I'm going to try. And I may not finish all of these, I may just kind of get you started. Number 3, I think, was another, so 1 and 3. I basically just tried to give you one of each type of question that will be on the test. So J is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. K is -3, 8. L is 3, 8. And M is 3, 3. Okay, what's different about this one is you're reflecting across the line y equals 2. So y equals 2 is actually 2 up. So it's right here. Alright, so if I'm reflecting across that line, I'm not going to go like, alright, well, M is 3 above the origin, so I need to go 3 below. Not like that. I'm looking at how far it is above that specific y equals 2 line. So right now, M is 1 above it, so I'm going to put M prime 1 below it. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. L is 5 above that. Connect those. K is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 above that line. Remember, new ones get the apostrophe, which we pronounce prime. And J is 1 below it now. Okay, and then just kind glance at it, make sure it kind of lines up to where it looks congruent since it was just a reflection. And you will tell your new points over here. Make sure you go back and do these. I want you guys to practice naming those points though. Okay, don't remember exactly which ones I told you to do on this section, so check the board for that. Okay, I'm pretty sure I said 9, so I'll go over rotation. So it's -7, -1 is S, -2, -3 is T, -2, -5 is U, -7, -7 is V. Okay, I would recommend kind of, again, double checking on the test, double checking your points, but also checking this as rotate trapezoid. Okay, well, make sure you're done with the trapezoid. Yes, if it says rectangle and it is obviously not, then please check your points and find your mistake. Alright, so it is 90 clockwise is our rotation. So if it's 90, you want to flip X and Y. So Y, X. And then if it's clockwise, remember clockwise equals to the right, that way. So you want to think the right side of your mapping rule gets the negative. I like to rotate just from the points personally, so I'll look at S. So if S is -7, -1, I flip them. -1, -7. And then, okay, the right side gets the negative or the opposite. Well, if I make 7 negative, well, it will become positive because it was already a negative. Alright, so go ahead and take a minute, try those. So pause your video and then press play when you're done. Okay, hopefully you're just checking your answers. I have those there for you. Remember to make that right side the opposite. Alright, I want to say 12 was on there. So if you are dilating a figure, you are going to change its size. It's either going to get bigger or smaller. So dilation is the only transformation that does not produce a congruent image, okay? So for our mapping rule, all we do is we multiply each x and y by the scale factor, right? That's 3/2, so that means 3/2x, and then 3/2 times y. Or, some people ask today, can I make that a decimal? Absolutely. So divide 3 by 2, and that's 1.5. So numerator by denominator. So I could do 1.5x, 1.5y. So, since this number is greater than 1, it's going to get bigger. Alright, I'm not gonna graph the pre-image. I want you guys to do that. So take a minute, graph the pre-image, and also figure your new points. I will give you one example here. So if I do 1.5 times -4, I get -6, and if I do 1.5 times 0, I just still get 0. So pause, finish those off. Okay, hopefully you're checking your answer. So those are the new image coordinates that I got. On the test, you'll make sure you have the pre-image and image graphed. Some of them gives it to you, but okay, I'm pretty sure 13 is on there. Hopefully it's on the to-do list. So I'm going to start off with just the mapping rule. So if you do not know this yet, please write it down. So x values are affected by left, which is negative, or right, which is positive. Y values are affected by up, which is positive, or down, which is negative. So for this mapping rule here, it says translate parallelogram left 6 and down 2. So that would be, since it's left 6, I want to think that left goes with my x, so I do x minus 6. And then down goes with y, so I do y minus 2. Okay, you can either graph this on the plane and then figure your new coordinates based on just moving it, or you can figure them from that mapping rule and then kind of go back to the graph. So I'll show you what I mean here. So 7, 1 is R, 6, negative 2 is S, and 1, negative 4 is T. It does look like a parallelogram, even though my line's a little crooked there. But so I want to think, I'm going to take each point, I'm going to go left 6 and down 2. So Q, I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now down 2, 1, 2. So that would be Q prime. All right, if I did it on the mapping rule, I would do, originally I had 2, negative 1. So that's, if you want to do it here, you can. So that's 2 minus 6. Comma, negative 1 minus 2, which equals, well, 2 minus 6 is negative 4. Negative 1 minus, I have a comma here, sorry. Negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. All right, so let's check and make sure we got that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Perfect, so that means both of those options were right. All right, so that's how you do the first one there. You guys go ahead and finish it up. Okay, pretty sure the transformations on these I had you do were, I think, 14 and 16, so I'll go over those two. So it says, tell what happened, like what is the transformation and what's the mapping rule. So there is one of these on the test where you're looking at the image and you have to tell the scale factor. So I know this was a dilation because remember, this is my new. So new has the apostrophe. So I want to think, all right, dilation is in the case where it's bigger or smaller. This one got bigger from the old to the new. So that means I'm going to have scale factor greater than 1. So anything over 1. Look and try to find your easiest point. Like at first I picked F. That's probably not the easiest. I would probably go with E because they're on these nice even coordinates. I do not need my X and my Y values. I can do either, but so for E, the point is negative 2, negative 2. E prime is negative 3, negative 3. Well, those are the exact same numbers, so I definitely don't need to divide them twice. Please make sure you know this, though. For the scale factor, it is the new divided by the old. Okay, so in this case, my new was E prime, which is negative 3, divided by E, which is negative 2. You can leave this as a fraction or as a decimal, so that simplifies. My negatives would cancel. I have 3 over 2 or 1.5. And my mapping rule would just be multiply them by x and y. So it's, remember our original, then this is the new part. Alright, translation on this one. Again, make sure you're looking from new to old. So in this case, blue with the apostrophe is my new. So since this is where I'm ending up though, I really want, I guess I said that wrong. I want to work from the old and go to the new. So I'm just going to look at point K. K went right 1 and down 1, 2, 3, 4. So to represent that in the mapping rule, I have my original, my pre, 1 is my x, down 4 is my y. So that's x plus 1, comma, and then y minus 4. I think I gave you a couple more on here, but hopefully you can do those now that I gave you an example. Oops. Pretty sure we're at 24. I don't know which other one I picked, so I'll just go over 24. So for each type you want to think, all right, A, line symmetry, so I'm just going to write this off to the side. So is there a way I could fold this and it would line up? So if I fold it like this, well, that wouldn't work because this would go to the empty space. Could I fold it this way? No, because then that would go to the empty space. So there is no line symmetry. So now let's look at rotational. Usually it's point then rotational, but so if I rotate this 180 or upside down, right, then you can also think if I just take this and turn it 180, does it look the same? Okay, well, yes, it does. So that means that is point rotation. So I'm going to write down C first. So it has point. Alright, if it has point, then it has at least 2 for rotational, because I could do 180 and then back to 360. Otherwise, we don't count the 360. Only if it has point, then we count it as 2. So this one would be yes on rotation, 2 rotations. Okay. I know I picked some of these for you to do. Hopefully they're not difficult. Like 28, sketch a figure that has exactly 3 lines of symmetry. That just means no more or less, exactly 3. So hopefully you can do those and you can check your answers on the back. Right, 32. Find the coordinates of the new image if the original points are A, B, C, and the new image is found by the rule x, y, 2x equals, or comma negative 1, y plus 1. Alright, so if you are finding the new, then you just plug in, okay? Plug into the mapping rule. So I would do, alright, all my x's I'm just multiplying by 2 according to this. So that's going to give me A prime negative 4, B prime 10, C prime 16. Now for the y, I'm going to do negative this number plus 1. So for A, negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. For B, negative 7 plus 1 is negative 6. And for C, negative 9 plus 1 is negative 8. Oh, no, just kidding. Glad I got that. Sorry, it's really early. So for C, it's negative 9 plus 1. So that's 9 plus 1, which equals 10. I think I had it right on the key, hopefully. Check it, though. Alright, and then there are lots of these on the test. Describe what transformations took place. So that I am just looking at the mapping rule, which is right here. So I'm looking at this and just kind of deal with each part. So the 2 on the x, well, that's a dilation. Technically it stretched over x because the x only got bigger, but if you just say dilation, that's okay. Alright, now the negative in front of the y. So you want to think, what thing makes the y negative? Well, that's a reflection over x. And look back at your table from your 2.3 notes to kind of remind you on these things. Alright, and then there's also y plus 1, which tells me it had a translation, and be specific on this, of up 1. Okay, is the new image congruent with the original? Well, only thing you need to know here is, was there a dilation? Dilation is the only one that changes the size. So I would say no, because there was a dilation. Okay, I think I picked 34. So write the transformation mapping rule for this movement. So there's a couple of things that happen. Reflected across the y, which I know makes x negative. And then translated up 1 would be like y plus 1. And 2 units to the right would be like x plus 2. So if I combine all of that, start your mapping rule off with your 3. Alright, makes x negative because I reflect across the y. So negative x, but I also have this plus 2 to move it to the right. And then I have, the only thing that happened to y is it went up 1. Okay, now that's the hard part. All I want to do now is just plug in those points I already had. So A was 3, 0. Make sure I'm finding new. Yes, so new I plug in. So if I plug 3, I guess negative x plus 2. Well, I want to plug in 3 because that's my x value. So negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. And then if I plug 0 into the y plus 1, 0 plus 1 is 1. Okay, finish it off with B. Answers are in the back. Okay, and then this next part, some people were really confused on this. So is the new image congruent with the original? So we did this on the last question, but the only thing you need here is, so is it congruent with the original? You want to think, did a dilation happen? Well, did we write, did you see anything that said dilation, or did we multiply anything? We did not, so it is congruent. And you could just say, like, there was no dilation, or there was no change in size, or something like that. Okay, I want to say the last one I gave you was 36. Please, please, please do not skip these last ones, and if you do not get them the first time, there are examples for you to practice some others, and always check your answers at the bottom. So find the original. If you're finding the original, you have to write an equation. So we're going to set mapping rule equal to the new coordinate. Alright, so here's my mapping rule. I'm just gonna start with A prime, I guess. So like I said, they've already found these new ones. These are our primes, and we're trying to find the original. Okay, so we can't plug in because usually you plug the original in to get the new. So I have to set it equal and see what they got. Alright, so my x side says negative x minus 9. Well, they plugged something into this x, but we don't know what. But we do know what they got. They got x value of 1. So I'm going to add 9 to 1. Well, I can't have negative x, so I divide each by negative 1 to give me x equals negative 10. Okay, I do the same thing for y, except I want to use the y part of the mapping rule. So 4y plus 3 equals, and they got a y value of 7. So I minus 3, divide by 4, y equals 1. Okay, go ahead, pause here, try to find your other two coordinates and also what type of transformations took place. Okay, hopefully you're checking B and C there. B did come out to a y value with a decimal or a fraction, so whatever form you put that is okay. I wanted to go to transformations, so I had a negative at the front of my x here. So if only x is negative, then that means there is a reflection over the y-axis. Alright, if I do minus 9 after my x, that means that's a translation. X minus 9 means left 9. But I also had the plus 3 at the end of the y, so I'm going to say and up 3. And can't really fit it here, but there was also a dilation over y, which was that 4. Okay, so remember, finishing this off, here's your answer key. Make sure you're ready for the test. I do not collect this for a grade, but do as many as you need to be prepared for the tests. All right, message me any questions you have. Good luck.